is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now it's 6 on Good Morning Indiana.
It seems like on a daily basis we continue to adjust to this new, unique atmosphere that we're in.
More Hoosiers are having trouble finding a way to earn a paycheck. This morning we're looking at the efforts from state officials to help make ends meet.
It's trying times for restaurants as diners are forced to curbside. New on Good Morning Indiana, the lessons local restaurant owners say they're learning from COVID-19.
The coronavirus is forcing travel plans to be canceled.
My daughter and I had signed up with her high school, her art history class, to go to Spain.
Working for you, we're exploring the options you have if your trip was rerouted.
We are in this together, and Hoosiers are standing behind those fighting the virus on the front lines.
We're excited to uplift the doctors and the nurses, the hospital staff, the patients.
We'll take you to a moving show of support for healthcare workers on the West Side.
Well, it is Friday, April the 3rd. I want to thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana.
Well, many of us typically would be excited that it's the weekend and we have some nice weather ahead, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go much further than our backyards. Ralph, do you have anything exciting planned for your weekend?
Well, listen, Todd gave me so many reasons to get out of my living room yesterday that I'm hoping that today there are many more options. So, Todd, fill us in on what we hope will be a nice warm weekend. Fingers crossed again.
You could uncross those fingers again. We'll be above normal, so we'll be in pretty good shape. And I'm sure, Raphael, you could spread some mulch in your yard, your neighbors' yards, and they'll appreciate that. And anything you want to do in your yard this weekend is going to be in good shape. There's one little small window that I'll get into Maine weather on Saturday when we could get a spot shower or two. But let's talk about today first. A little on the cool side this morning, but not bad. 38 to 48 degrees is your temperature spread this morning. Not as cold as it was yesterday. And there is some clouds out there, and can't rule out the chance of a quick brief shower this morning as this little disturbance swings through. Most of this is not even reaching the ground. Just north of Lafayette, there could be a sprinkle or two if you live in that area, but that is just about it. But we will have a little more in the way of cloud cover for a few hours this morning. But what's going to happen as soon as the sun gets above the horizon, sun's getting stronger this time of year, obviously, and that's going to help to thin the clouds out pretty quickly. So we'll go mostly cloudy to partly cloudy today. Notice the temperature by the noon hour already right around 60 degrees. We'll continue to warm into the mid-60s later on this afternoon. We'll talk about that and the shower chances for the weekend coming up in just a few minutes. But right now, it's 6:02. Let's get another look at the roadways with Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a look right now up on the north side, I-465 near the White River. You can see traffic in this spot is moving along up to speed. Still pretty quiet this morning. Traveling up to speed, though, both eastbound and westbound. We will continue to keep our eyes on the roads and let you know if there are any crashes or delays. Raphael.
In the news this morning, the number of coronavirus cases continue to skyrocket in our state. The graph on your screen, as you'll see here, shows the increase in the number of cases this week alone. The State Department of Health says 78 Hoosiers have died from the virus. This morning, health officials say there are more than 3,000 positive cases in Indiana. More than 16,000 Hoosiers have been tested.
This morning, the other big number causing major concern is the number of people filing for unemployment. Our Kelsey Anderson is at the State House this morning. Kelsey, what is the local government doing to help those who are currently out of work?
Hey, good morning, Meredith. So the big problem that people are facing right now is the wait time it's taking to either on the phone getting in contact with someone who works at the unemployment office or just getting that response back. So more than 146,000 Hoosiers filed for unemployment claims last week. That's the most claims the Department of Workforce Development has seen since 2009, when 28,000 Hoosiers submitted claims, which is causing long wait times for a lot of people.
The phones are down. The phones just disconnect you at Indiana Workforce Development. And the web chat has been disabled. So right now, all you can do is email and cross your fingers that they're going to contact you back.
So to combat the wait time, the Department of Workforce Development Commissioner Fred Payne says they are hiring 77 new state employees and have opened up a new system where Hoosiers can file over the phone or online. Now, the federal government also added a new category of workers who can apply for benefits. That includes contractors, freelancers, and gig economy workers like Uber and Lyft drivers. Now, but because that change is so new, when those people are applying for unemployment, they're getting denied. But state officials say not to panic. They have a plan in place, and once that new initiative gets put into the system, you won't have to reapply for unemployment. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. On Thursday, Governor Eric Holcomb announced students across Indiana will meet remotely for the rest of the school year. A number of those students depend on their school for their meals. So we spoke with Wayne Township School Superintendent Dr. Jeff Butts. On Wednesday, 3 meal sites in Wayne Township ran out of food. We asked whether this would continue to be an issue now that students will be out of school longer. The superintendent says the issue was with the district's vendors who are ordering less food from suppliers since most restaurants are serving fewer customers. But Dr. Butts says that staff members are working through the trickle-down impact.
We're used to serving 12,000 to 13,000 lunches every single day in our schoolhouses. But when you're providing meals in this fashion, it's just a much different circumstance that we're all having to adjust to.
On Monday, we showed you how the Wayne Township Schools changed its meal distribution procedures to better follow social distancing guidelines. The superintendent says that some staff are concerned about being exposed while working at the distribution sites. And the federal government is taking new steps to keep people employed. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says that a paycheck protection program for small business owners should be up and running later today. The $349 billion loan program is meant to help small businesses survive this pandemic without having to make mass cuts.
After the Treasury Secretary's announcement, we talked to Matt Will, an associate professor of finance at UIndy, to see how this loan program will impact Central Indiana specifically.
Okay, and the unemployment rate is surging. We saw 6.6 million new jobless claims filed nationally in the past week. We want to keep Hoosiers hired. How will this relief program directly impact Central Indiana?
Well, that's the exact goal of this program, because the only way you can get this money is if you promise to keep your people employed. So people that have, or companies that have less than 500 employees will apply for this money. They'll be able to keep their people on the payroll, and they will not go on the unemployment roll. So it really is an attempt to keep people off the unemployment rolls and keep those businesses running so that they're ready to go once this whole situation is over.
You can check out the whole interview with Matt on the IndyChannel.com. He clarifies how soon small business owners should be contacting their banks, what they need to prepare for, and the loan forgiveness opportunities. There you can also find a sample application from the SBA as well as a loan calculator to see how much you qualify for.
Main Street, Indiana is struggling to survive this pandemic, whether it's Kokomo or Carmel or Martinsville or Avon. Small businesses that employ thousands of Hoosiers are making some really tough choices. They're looking at all their options to keep people employed and provide that paycheck. Sherry Young is keeping up with the orders for carryout. They're keeping her business open, but barely.
I'm operating right on the edge. Don't know how much food to order. Not sure if I can get the food I need. That's even getting tough.
Since mid-March, she's had to lay off more than a dozen people from the Court Street Cafe.
We are like family. They're all precious to me. So yeah, I've had to look at those in greatest need. I've had to say to some, that are paying daycare, if they work, it's probably going to cost you to work because I can't give you enough hours to cover what you're going to spend. So I've had some that have had to choose to stay at home.
We spoke last Saturday when the wait time for breakfast under normal circumstances would be about an hour. The dining room is now dark. The last few weeks have been depressing, but she's determined to one day dish about this moment.
I hope we look back on this and realize that no matter how hard life seems, we can still be kind and we can still be generous.
There is a lot of generosity out there. Today marks Sherry's 5th year in business. It was key for her to make it to this state, and now she's working to make it way beyond. We know times are really tough, and while the community support is really boosting Main Street, the support is boosting those small businesses. There are a number of financial programs out there looking to help you out. Beyond that federal program that Meredith just talked about, check with your town or mayor's office. There are grants being offered, as well as your local chamber of commerce, as well as your county community foundation.
Raphael, thanks. We know a lot of people are wondering, is social distancing really doing the trick? Our Alyssa Donovan spoke with a scientist who's analyzing that question and others related to the coronavirus outbreak.
I sat down with a scientist who's at the forefront of fighting COVID-19. His job is to research and analyze data and then help government and public health officials make decisions during an infectious disease outbreak. Sam Scarpino is an assistant professor at Northeastern University in Boston and a chief data scientist. The Indianapolis native attended Indiana University and graduated from Broad Ripple High School. Scarpino coordinates a research group that builds mathematical and computer simulation models of infectious disease outbreaks. He works with public health and government leaders to translate those results into improved decision-making around an outbreak.
For COVID-19, we've been actively involved in generating forecasts of ICU demand, ventilator demand, outbreak size,
as well as researching how physical distancing and work from home orders are helping stop the spread. His team found that places that have implemented measures like physical distancing and takeout only and the closing of non-essential businesses have experienced a 50% decrease in mobility and commuter flow.
And that this amount of mobility reduction should be sufficient to flatten out the epidemic curve and reduce the overall demand on our intensive care units.
However, Scarpino says we're still very much at risk of seeing hospitals overwhelmed with the number of cases of COVID-19. And if you're wondering where that data comes from, Scarpino and his team started entering the numbers manually back in January. That data goes to power research for both the CDC and World Health Organization. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. In Hendricks County last night, a huge display of support for those who are fighting coronavirus on the front lines. Hundreds of people kept at a safe distance in their cars turned out for a prayer and worship night in support of healthcare workers and patients at IU Health West Hospital in Avon.
We're excited to uplift the doctors and the nurses, the hospital staff, the patients. We just want to let them know that the community is there and we support and we love them and that we're praying for them and that we're lifting them up.
Just knowing that this many people in the community are thinking about us and praying for us and sitting outside the hospital thinking about us is really something pretty incredible for our team to think about.
Supporters parked in the hospital's parking lot watched on Facebook Live together, and they tuned in to one radio station to hear the same music.
More and more families are applying for SNAP benefits. So we're working for you at 6:15 with how agencies are keeping up with demand and how you can help out. Todd.
And Lauren, yesterday was a very nice day across central Indiana. Today is going to maybe be even better. It depends on your opinion. As far as my opinion in rating the day, I'm going to give today about a 7 to 8 on our scale up to 10. We're above normal. We have partly cloudy skies. There's just a little chance of a shower this morning. We'll talk about that. And also your weekend forecast going forward coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:13. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Free to insure it.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 6:16. We're live from our Johnson County studios. We should point out that the need for food assistance is growing as people are losing their jobs and also their hours are being cut. So one of the nation's biggest safety net programs is known as SNAP. Let me take you out west where the SNAP applications in Los Angeles alone have doubled already in the first few weeks here in March. The Food Research and Action Center says that trend has been mirrored in hard-hit areas really across the country. The center says the pandemic will test SNAP in ways it's never seen before. States are already working to keep up with all the applications, including here in Indiana. And that includes help from the federal government and cutting a lot of red tape.
The program is designed to expand when need expands. It runs on the regular rails of commerce, on the regular retail grocery store system. those are still fairly resilient, which is important.
If you want to help those struggling with food insecurity, you may want to consider making a financial donation to your local food bank.
You know the saying, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. The FBI says that is the case with a new text message scam going around. It appears to be from Costco, and it offers shoppers $110 of goods in exchange for filling out a survey. However, the link contains malware and could allow hackers to access your personal information. Last week, the FBI warned scams involving stimulus checks or related to the coronavirus are on the rise. They have investigated nearly 1,200 complaints just in the last week. All right, no scams when it comes to our forecast today, thankfully, Todd. This is some good news.
Yeah, I like to just shoot you straight, tell you what it's going to be. And I always like when the two numbers that I always have on this high temperature map are the same color. I don't have to make one blue because it's going to be below normal. Our average high today is 59 for this time of year. We're going up. My forecast high, 65. So it's going to be another above normal day for us. We're starting off this morning with temperatures that are in the 40s and 50s across the area. Yesterday, we were down below freezing in some locations. So we're running anywhere from about 8 to 15 degrees warmer than we were just 24 hours ago. With the warmer start, it's going to be a warmer finish, probably about 5 degrees warmer today in many locations than it was yesterday. So highs today up to the north, Tipton about 63, Logansport 64, Lafayette, you're looking at a high rate around 67 degrees. Highs will approach 70 degrees today in Bloomington as well as Bedford with a mixture of sun and clouds. Nice and mild for you. And then in and around the metro area, temperatures will be hovering right around 65 degrees with partly cloudy skies. This morning, there is a little bit of cloud cover out there, and you also notice a little bit of green, which will be rain on Storm Team 6 radar. A lot of this is not reaching the ground, though, so it's not that big of a concern for us this morning. It's definitely bringing in a little more in the way of cloud cover, but it's not producing a whole lot of rain. Maybe in these darker shades just north of Lafayette, we're picking up a shower, but I just looked at some of the reports coming in up there, and there's really not a whole lot making its way into the area. This more substantial rain is going to stay down to our south. Now, tomorrow's a little bit of a different story as we do introduce some rain chances, but it's only about 30% coverage. So that means only about 20 to 30% of our entire viewing area, which is a lot of the state here in central Indiana, will have the chance of a spot shower. And that would primarily be throughout the afternoon hours. Tomorrow's temperature is right around 62 degrees. It's just a weak little front that is coming through. So by the time we get to mid-morning, there's the chance of a spot shower. And notice as this line progresses to the east, it doesn't really pack much of a punch. So there's only a very small opportunity for a window of rain in your neighborhood tomorrow. So when you pull up that app on your phone and it's showing a rain icon, tomorrow is not a washout by any means. In fact, most of the day is dry. There's just that small window where a few spotty showers come through. Once they move through your neighborhood, you're done with it for the day. If you do get caught in one of those showers, it's very light, it's very quick. That's the good news. A stray shower on Sunday, nothing more at 63. A little better in the way of rain chances with some thunderstorms as we get into the early part of next week. But with the thunderstorm chances comes some mild temperatures with highs, Meredith, all the way up into the 70s.
All right, sounds good, Todd. Thank you. People across central Indiana are working together in different ways to help their fellow Hoosiers during this crisis. Here are some of the stories you've shared with us.
In Noblesville Sunday afternoon, students and their families lined their neighborhood streets, each one holding signs like this.
It says, "Hi, we miss you," because we really miss our teachers.
The idea for the parade started after teacher Stacy Scott Stewart saw this being done in another community.
I hope that it lifts their spirits. I know it's been tremendous for us.
She says not being able to see the students in person has been tough.
I can't imagine how hard it is for the kids. I can't imagine because it's that hard for us.
Families from North Elementary say Sunday's parade made the students feel loved. But there was one thing the kids are already looking forward to if they get to return to school this year.
Happiness.
It's a product they never thought they'd be making. When they started hearing about a hand sanitizer shortage, leaders here jumped into action. Ginger Barnes is the vice president of operations at Hotel Tango. She says they already have the facilities and equipment needed to produce high-proof alcohol. So in just days, they created this formula, an ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer. Once they had approval from the federal government, they started bottling it up.
We have the product being made kind of around the clock.
She says this first batch will be delivered to shelters and other nonprofit organizations.
Because of this, we've been able to keep people working, which feels really important and something we're really proud of.
Tell us how people in your community are working together during this difficult time by emailing us at workingforyou@rtv6.com. We'll be right back.
Forks online auction and virtual event. At 6:25, welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is time to talk about what is trending at 6.
And Lauren, I think our friend Meredith is the singer of our group here, so maybe she can help us out with Take Me Out to the Ball Game, since she is the one most likely to carry
That's
a
a
tune.
bold statement, Raphael.
What? No, I mean, I've heard you sing in the newsroom.
Not well.
Before COVID-19, let's check this out. Thursday was supposed to be the Washington Nationals home opener. Some fans did not want the day to pass without some kind of acknowledgement. So residents at a condo building in the nation's capital, they stepped onto their balconies about the time the first pitch would have been thrown at the park. And of course, they belted out, "Take me out to the ball game." What a sight.
Well, that was not Take Me Out to the Ball Game. That was in Italian. A group of Italian soldiers were not going to let the coronavirus stand in the way of a birthday celebration. Soldiers working at a field hospital in Piacenza surprised a patient named Bruno with a birthday cake and a song. The 62-year-old told the soldiers that they touched his heart. It's very sweet.
A Facebook group is building a community of people stuck in isolation. It's called the Happy Heart Hunt Facebook group. People post pictures of their heart creations, like a photo from Wisconsin's Diane Secker. She made a basket of knitted hearts, a post that drew more than 22,000 reactions in one day. Isn't it amazing, just these little things that people are doing, like putting the bears in their front window for kids to go on a bear hunt, and this Happy Heart Hunt that people are doing, just the joy that is just bringing to so many of us during this tough time.
Yeah, and you know, one of our web editors and I live in the same neighborhood, and I drove past his house the other day, and they have cutout hearts all over all their windows.
Oh, how fun.
He has 3 little kids, so I'm sure that's kept them busy.
Yes.
So it was just cool to see that. So
very, very fun.
All right, Todd, maybe folks are heading out to see some of those bears on the walk this weekend. Today's a good day to do that.
Yeah, the weather's definitely going to cooperate today, and for the most part over the weekend. There's just some small shower chances tomorrow afternoon. Beautiful picture of the courthouse up there in Lafayette with some buds on the trees. Temperatures this morning are starting off right around 48 degrees at 8 a.m. and we do have a little bit of cloud cover out there currently, but that will thin out as the morning goes on. 59 degrees by time we get to the noon hour. Then high temperatures today will be in the mid-60s for most of us, although some of you in southern locations and over to the west in Terre Haute could potentially get to that 70-degree mark. Lauren.
Todd, thank you. With the economy in turmoil and most of us watching every dollar, the last thing you need is a travel company to refuse a refund for an upcoming trip. Working for You, John Matarese shows you why some families could be losing thousands of dollars for canceled school trips, so you don't waste your money.
With travelers canceling their spring travel plans by the millions, airlines and tour companies are swamped with calls. And when you finally get through, many people are then frustrated to learn they may not be getting a refund. Sarah Hignite and her high school daughter had been looking forward to a school trip to Europe.
My daughter and I had signed up with her high school, her art history class, to go to Spain.
The 10-day EF Tours trip was expensive, but would be the trip of a lifetime.
My husband and I worked extra shifts and picked up extra jobs to make the payments for this Spain trip.
But COVID-19 and President Trump's travel ban ended those plans. So Sarah and other parents contacted EF Tours, only to learn they could get only vouchers or pay a penalty to cancel.
You can accept a refund minus $1,000 per person. Well, that's $2,000 in my case. That's a lot of money.
Sarah says it would have been one thing had this been a midsummer trip and maybe the flights would be back in the air by then. But no, this was a spring break trip and the bus to the airport was supposed to leave in another week. Sarah says she'll never be able to reschedule, so we contacted EF Tours, where a spokeswoman told us they will now give refunds, minus a $1,000 fee per person for non-refundable charges. Sarah says that's better than nothing, but still a financial hit in this uncertain time.
Some families have paid over $20,000, depending on how many people from their family were going to go on these trips.
Policies are changing by the day. So if your travel company is holding onto your deposit right now, check back in another week so you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. Schools in Indiana will be closed for the rest of the school year. Governor Holcomb and State Superintendent Jennifer McCormick announced that students will continue learning at home to help slow the spread of COVID-19. We'll have more on this order and what else came out of the governor's latest news briefing coming up in just 2 minutes.
Following that announcement, Indiana High School Athletic Association says that it's canceling high school spring sports. That includes baseball, softball, golf, tennis, and track. The IHSAA says it supports the state's decision to close schools and urges everyone to follow safety guidelines.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says there is no evidence that COVID-19 is spreading through food or food packaging. Officials say even if a person working at a food facility tested positive for the virus, they do not anticipate a massive recall. The FDA says there is also not a widespread food shortage despite some empty grocery store shelves. They are urging you to just buy a week or two worth of groceries at a time. Well, we want to welcome you in here on this Friday morning to Good Morning Indiana.
That's right. We are social distancing and hope you keep that in mind as you're making those weekend plans, most likely at home. Raphael, good morning to you down in Johnson County.
Good morning, everyone. Our Todd Clausen, our TK, says it's going to be okay today and heading into the weekend. Right, Todd?
Yeah, you know, today's terrific. No threat of any rain this afternoon. Temperatures above normal. You can really ask for a whole lot more. This weekend, there's some minor rain chances, but still not a bad forecast. More on that coming up. This morning, your checklist includes the sunglasses. You'll definitely need those throughout the day. Some of you may want a light jacket this morning, but temperatures are currently sitting in the 30s and 40s across the area. Your outdoor workout is good to go. You do not need the umbrella, despite the fact that there is the chance of a hit or miss shower in some locations this morning. I'll show you that in just a second here. But we do have clouds around this morning, so it starts off mostly cloudy, and then we'll thin the clouds out for some sunshine during the afternoon hours. That noontime temperature, that is up to 59 degrees. Will continue to warm eventually into the 60s, so it's a very mild day. The best shower chance is north of Lafayette in that darker shade of green. Most of this from Indianapolis to the south that you see on radar, not even reaching the ground. But for those of you in Logansport, up towards the Peru area, maybe in the Delphi area, Flora, you may deal with a quick little passing shower this morning, but it goes through very, very quickly. That is the good news. Otherwise, highs today, 64 in Kokomo, 66 in Greenwood. Bloomington today should top off right around 70 degrees.
It's going to take a collective effort to save lives, and schools must do their part.
State School Superintendent Jennifer McCormick announcing all K-12 schools will be closed for the rest of the school year. School buildings are now required to remain closed to help contain the spread of COVID-19 throughout our state. That means students will have to continue doing their schoolwork through e-learning. For high school seniors, the state is making changes to make sure their graduation will not be delayed.
For seniors, for the class of 2020, you will be required to have earned your credits, and for any course that you are enrolled in will count toward that. So if you have earned your credits up to semester 7 or in middle school and are enrolled in courses that will get you across that stage, you will be recognized as a 2020 graduate at the conclusion of your calendar or your instructional year.
Schools must also complete a minimum of 160 total instructional days, or at least 20 more days of remote learning from April 2nd through the end of the school year. Raphael.
The number of positive COVID-19 cases continues to grow, and while the state keeps an eye on that number, the other big number that everyone is worried about is that of the unemployment figures that are coming in. Our Kelsey Anderson is live this morning at the State House. And Kelsey, what is the state doing to help those workers who are currently out of work?
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So what they're doing is they're bringing in more resources. So what the big problem right now is the wait time that people are experiencing while trying to file for unemployment. More than 146,000 Hoosiers filed for unemployment last week. That's the most claims the Department of Workforce Development has seen since 2009, when 28,000 Hoosiers submitted claims, which is causing long wait times for a lot of people.
I'm just frustrated with the system that it's overloaded. There's nothing they could do to prepare for this. And I really hope that perhaps the governor will come up with some type of program to help them out so that they can help others.
So to combat that issue, what they're doing is they are hiring 77 new state employees to work at the Workforce Development, and they've also opened up a new system where Hoosiers can file over the phone or online. The federal government also added a new category of workers who can apply for benefits. That includes contractors, freelancers, and gig economy workers like Uber and Lyft drivers. Now, because that change is so new, workers in that category are still being denied in the system, but state officials say don't panic. They have a plan, and you won't have to reapply once that initiative gets put into the system. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. A southeastern Indiana county says it has the highest per capita rate of COVID-19 infection in the state. Decatur County is now taking steps beyond the state's stay-at-home order to try to stop the spread. All restaurants in Decatur County were ordered to close by 8 o'clock last night. Decatur County restaurants can't even offer takeout or delivery services. The county is also now under a travel warning. That means no travel is allowed at all unless a person is going to essential work or activities such as grocery shopping. The emergency ordinance is in effect in Decatur County until at least next Thursday, April the 9th.
Today, a new federal lending program for small businesses is part of that massive stimulus bill. It was supposed to begin, but some banks who are part of the $350 billion program are not sure if they're ready yet. The Paycheck Protection Program is scheduled to start today. It's supposed to help small businesses survive this pandemic by offering loans to help with payroll and other expenses. The Trump administration was only able to finalize those rules for the program 2 days ago, so some of the banks who will be lending the money say they're still going over those new rules and may not be able to take applications from the small businesses just yet. Raphael.
Live from our Johnson County studio, the leaders in Hamilton County, they're preparing to help small businesses out, Lauren. The city of Noblesville has created a grant program. Businesses can apply for aid up to $10,000. That money will come from the city's rainy day fund. For local owners like Jason Manship of Moonshot Games, it will be a big step toward helping businesses like his survive.
Such a cool concept. I mean, to see a city stand with the people that, are there with it. I mean, we're there every single day.
So far, 70 businesses have already applied. A committee will decide where that money goes. The deadline to apply is by the end of the day today. We do have a link to do that on our website, theindychannel.com.
Well, if you're looking for people who are hiring right now, we're here for you with our Hiring Hoosiers commitment. It's connecting you to job openings, and we can tell you Domino's Pizza says about 50 of its franchise-owned restaurants are looking to hire about 350 new employees. So those positions include delivery drivers, customer service reps, assistant managers, and managers. Domino's is among the restaurants offering that contactless delivery to its customers to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. In order to keep up with the high demand for groceries, food, and medicine, both Market District and the Get-Go locations need to fill hundreds of open positions right now. There's actually a Market District store up in Carmel, and there are 63 Get-Go locations all across central Indiana. The Department of Transportation has announced a virtual job fair in which more than 1,000 construction and related positions will be made available. The virtual job fair will begin at 10 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, April 16th. You do not need to register for it. We do have a link to do that and get it on that job fair on our website, hiringhoosiers.com. And don't forget, hiringhoosiers.com is where you're going to find information on all of the companies looking to fill positions right now. Well, more people are drinking alcohol while they're stuck at home during this pandemic. So coming up, how that can quickly turn into a problem, especially for people who are in recovery. It is 6:38 here on your Friday. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Just a profession, it's a way of life.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana with a very serious issue. See, COVID-19 is having a real impact on the way people drink in central Indiana. This is especially tough for those on the road to recovery. RTV6's Kara Kenny has more on how to spot a drinking problem before it gets out of control.
Liquor stores are open. People are isolated at home and they're stressed and bored. Experts say that can cause some people to drink too much.
Alex is an alcoholic. He's been sober for 20 years.
If it weren't for recovery, I would be dead today, I'm sure.
We're not showing you his face because he works for Alcoholics Anonymous. He says now is a rough time for people to stay sober because almost all AA meetings have been moved to virtual meetings rather than in person.
They're stressed. It's a lot of people, especially newer folks in recovery, struggle when they're isolated. And this is what is happening right now everywhere.
Alex says COVID-19 creates an atmosphere that encourages people to drink more than they normally do.
You know, I hear so many jokes and whatnot about, oh, let's have a drink today. We're home with the kids, you know. And I guess that's funny, but it's not funny if you can't stop with one.
So how do you know if there's an issue? Some red flags: if you need a drink to make it through the day, if your drinking is impacting your job or your relationship, or if family and friends mention you should cut back.
At this time of social distancing, it's very important to use technology to our benefit. So there are various ways that someone can seek treatment without being face-to-face. Don't let this time of social distancing allow you to be isolated and to feel that you're alone.
You can reach out to your healthcare provider, call a hotline, or contact AA. AA is having some meetings in person, but the meetings are limited to the number of people who can attend and people distance from each other.
The biggest thing is if you suspect you have a problem, talk to someone. We've included a list of resources in this story on the RTV6 app. Reporting in Indianapolis, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Kara, thank you so much. According to Nielsen, which does a lot of research across the country, sales of booze jumped 55% in the third week of March. That's compared to the same time last year. Now, ready-to-drink cocktails like spiked lemonades or canned gin and tonics, that grew the most, seeing a 106% jump in sales.
Well, as the pandemic continues, scientists from all over are doing what they can to help fight the virus. Up next, how an Indiana scientist research is helping to slow the spread. Todd.
And there's a little bit of cloud cover out there this morning, but temperatures are nice and mild. But as the day goes on, we'll filter out the clouds for sunshine. So grab the sunglasses this morning, and you'll definitely need them later on this afternoon, as it's going to be a dry day for us today. But there are some slight rain chances as we head into your weekend forecast. We'll talk more about that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:44. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Home experts at theindychannel.com.
Social distancing, closing businesses, the data behind these decisions intended to help stop the spread of COVID-19 come from very specific research. Our Alyssa Donovan spoke to a scientist who is at the forefront of compiling these numbers and helping health and government leaders make difficult decisions during an infectious disease outbreak.
A lot of people are wondering if all of this social distancing is really doing the trick. Well, I sat down with a scientist whose job it is to research and analyze data to answer questions like that and others surrounding coronavirus. Sam Scarpino is an assistant professor at Northeastern University in Boston and a chief data scientist. The Indianapolis native attended Indiana University and graduated from Broad Ripple High School. Scarpino coordinates a research group that builds mathematical and computer simulation models of infectious disease outbreaks. He works with public health and government leaders to translate those results into improved decision-making around an outbreak, as well as researching how physical distancing and work from home orders are helping stop the spread. His team found that places that have implemented measures like physical distancing and takeout only and the closing of non-essential businesses have experienced a 50% decrease in mobility and commuter flow.
And that this amount of mobility reduction should be sufficient to flatten out the epidemic curve and reduce the overall demand on our intensive care units.
However, Scarpino says we're still very much at risk of seeing hospitals overwhelmed with the number of cases of COVID-19. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
All right, going to start off Good News Friday a little earlier here. This picture was sent in to me by Jennifer. She is a nanny, and she took advantage of the nice weather yesterday with the kids as she watched to make this beautiful chalk drawing on the driveway saying, "We heart our first responders." And I think everybody across central Indiana agrees with you, Jennifer. Thank you to all the doctors, the nurses out there, of course, the police and fire department, EMS that are responding to all these calls and taking care of everybody. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s here this morning. 47 right now in Bloomington, 45 in Tipton, 50 in Lafayette. It's 45 in Greenfield. We're starting off a little bit warmer today than we did yesterday, and as a result, our high temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer later on today, even though there is a little more in the way of cloud cover, especially this morning. But we'll thin those clouds out pretty quickly once the sun comes up. And with that sunshine, we'll see temperatures into the low to mid 60s later on this afternoon, and then we'll stay there throughout the course of the evening hours, and it's really a pretty nice day. That's despite the fact that Storm Team 6 radar has shown a few showers out here. Most of this, though, is not reaching the ground, but it is the reason why we do have a little more in the way of cloud cover this morning. If anywhere just north of Lafayette, there will be the chance of a spot shower or two this morning, but it quickly passes through. The bulk of this heavier rainfall that will stay down to our south. So that is the good news in our forecast for the day today. Looking forward to the day tomorrow, there are some small rain chances in this forecast, and it's only about a 20 to 30% coverage of the rain. That's what the percentages are when you say it's not the chance from 0 to 100 that you will have rain in your backyard. It's the coverage of the rain showers as they move through. So most of your Saturday is going to be dry. So if you're thinking about heading to a state park or doing something outside in the backyard with the kids, some spring cleaning, just to walk through the neighborhood, just know there's a small opportunity as we work our way throughout the afternoon hours or in the morning hours off to the west that an isolated very light rain shower could come through the area. We are not going to be talking about a lot in the way of rainfall tomorrow, and if you did see that shower in your neighborhood, it's probably going to last maybe 30 minutes tops. It will be on its way, and then you're done with the rain. It's just a front moving through. So tomorrow is not a washout. It's not a bad day whatsoever. Just know that there is that small chance of a shower quickly passing through. Spot shower on Sunday. Better rain chances next week with the warmth that builds in as highs climb into the 70s and we deal with some thunderstorms. Lauren?
All right, Todd, we're taking a look at traffic right now as you're heading out the door on your Friday. Here's a look right now in the downtown area, I-65 and I-70 at the North Split. You can see traffic here is moving along up to speed right now. No crashes to report around the metro area if you're heading to work this morning.
Good News Friday is next, and you will love this adorable little girl here. We'll tell you why she insisted she just had to be a unicorn this week. All that and more coming up after the break.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
As always, we wrap up our work week with Good News Friday, and we begin with someone who is trying to be a good neighbor while social distancing.
And so Meredith, she calls this spread love, not germs. So check this out. Take a look at this. Jenny Shillett says she decided to do this where she lives in Hamilton County after seeing examples from other areas on social media. Her idea? To spread love. Lots of love. Find rocks that are heart-shaped and paint them with messages of kindness and hope for her neighbors. That's the way to do it.
Very cool. Well, we've also seen a lot of examples of how kids are trying to cheer up their parents and other grown-ups during this crisis. So this is a really cute one from Brownsburg. Jen Finn sent us this picture of her 6-year-old daughter, Katie. She says little girl just insisted she needed to dress up like a unicorn so she could go out and be silly because she wanted to make people laugh and smile. And she is the cutest unicorn I've ever seen.
We've got some big smiles on our faces right now. You can't see them, but trust us, Katie, they are there. Good job. Okay, Raphael, Raphael, you almost got me to sing with this one. A couple of musicians made the day for a neighborhood in St. Louis this week. While everyone is staying at home, the tuba and trombone player walked down their street serenading everyone with a duet of Stand By Me. I got goosebumps from that. That's good. That, you know, all those high schoolers that don't have school anymore, unfortunately, if you're a member of the band or orchestra, go out and walk the streets. Do that. I would love to see some of that around here. That'd be pretty incredible. That's cool.
But wait till after maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Sleep. Though I would not mind if you want to serenade me out my living room window. I'd love to see the Franklin High School Marching Band, the Greenwood, or Edinburgh. Come on down. But Todd?
What's your
weekend forecast?
What's your address, Raphael? No, I'm just kidding. It'll be a good day out there today. We're starting off with a little bit of cloud cover out there. The clouds will decrease quickly this morning for plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures into the mid-60s. Just some very small rain chances tomorrow and Sunday. A little cooler, but back into the 70s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. And thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America with local news, weather, and, of course, your traffic updates.
Remember, all your news throughout the day can be found on the RTV6 app.
Enjoy the weekend. Look at that sunrise. Enjoy that. Good Morning America is next. We'll see you Monday morning right here for Good Morning Indiana. Wow, that's beautiful.